to go live. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the hashtag TFR Motivation Monday. Let me get my screen. All right, let's see. Let's go presenter view. Let's try that. All right, well, let me do this. All right. As always, when Marcy's not here, there's always some kind of struggle. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen and pull up the meeting. Let's just do it this way. I love it. I love it. I love it. But Marcy doesn't like it so much. You guys, don't tell her. Don't tell her this is happening. Now I can't figure out how to get the view back. We will just leave it that way. All right. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the hashtag TFR Motivation Monday Zoom. I am Dr. Don D. Nettles, flying solo tonight, as you can tell, because Marcy is the technical one. She is always the one that gets this set up. She goes live. She knows how to do it. And we had a little crash course, but the crash course was not as effective as I would have liked it to be. So let's get what is going on. I don't know why people on Facebook are seeing something different. Let's try. Oh my gosh, this is going to be pretty interesting if people on Facebook are seeing a different presentation than I'm showing now. So I'm just going to advance this slide and see what happens on my screen over here. Oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me. You guys, this is just unacceptable. But it is what it is. All right, let's just do that. Well, hello, everybody. So we're going to talk about today. I hate when technical difficulties happen, but I'm just going to have to roll with it. So this is the thing. When people get involved in their LifeVantage business, there's always choices because they already have a life when LifeVantage comes into it. So it's just a matter of how much information did they see? How compelling was it? How influential is it in helping them decide what role LifeVantage is going to play in their life? If at all, are they going to be a customer? Are they going to be a distributor? If they're going to be a distributor, how big of a business are they going to build? When are they going to put in the effort? Are they going to fit this LifeVantage opportunity into their life? The question is, in what capacity? How much time are they going to devote to it? Because all of us had 24 hours in a day, 7 days in a week, 365 days in a year before we ever heard of LifeVantage. Then we hear of LifeVantage and we've got this incredible experience, whether it's a product experience or we have an aha moment with regard to the business. And we have to then decide, how am I going to put this into my life? And if I do, when I do, how am I going to do it? Well, you only have 24 hours in a day. Like I said, no one has an unfair advantage. No one has a 26-hour day. No one has an 8-hour work week. No one has a 700-day year. We all have the exact same time down to the millisecond every single time. Time is time, the same time for all of us. Question is, what do we do with it? Well, here's the choices we have. When we're going to build a business, are we looking at fitting it in our spare time? And 99% of our life remains the same. Are we going to spit it into on a part-time basis where now maybe we're looking at a few hours a week up to maybe 10, 15, 20 hours a week? We're going to remain most of our life the same, but kind of carve out maybe 10, 15, 20 hours on a part-time basis. Then the other is maybe we want to replace our career, where maybe we're at the end of our career. Maybe we're retired and we just don't have the kind of financial security that we want in our retirement, and therefore we're looking elsewhere. Those are options that most people have. So the question is, then, if it's something where we want to replace our income, we want to replace our career, is it something that we do just enough as we did our former career, or does it become our life and we go big time in it? So is it spare time, part-time, full-time, or big time? It's the same opportunity. It's the same 24-hour period. It's the same 7 days in a work week, 12 months in a year, 365 days in a year. The question is, when are you going to fit it in? Well, I will tell you where not to fit it in, where I would recommend that you don't. But every one of us has the same choices, and it really comes down to priorities. So if we are doing something family oriented, I would recommend, unless it's something where you're building a business with your family, that you don't substitute LifeVantage time for family time, because it's only a matter of time before someone feels left out, before someone's feelings get hurt, before someone feels like this business is more important to them, and now they start to resent it. And it's very difficult to build a business that benefits from for your family when the family is resenting you for doing so. So this is the thing, prioritizing. So important time, family time, whether that's date night, family vacations, family picnics once a month, whatever it is, don't build your business during your family time or your special time. Look at the times that you have expendable time, the times that you would be watching Netflix binges, times that you would be golfing. I have a friend, for example, who's in a bowling league. He bowls 4 nights a week for about 3 hours a night. That's 12 hours a week. He could be building a LifeVantage business, but he's choosing not to, and that's okay. So there is no wrong way to do this unless you haven't thought it out, and unless you're getting friction or negative feedback from yourself and those around you. Then maybe you should just look at prioritizing, fitting it in the spare time. And then as eventually this starts to work, you buy back your time. And now you're trading time where you were normally doing something else or previously doing something else, for now you're doing this. That's exactly how I handled it. So let's get into how we're going to do this. So if you're going to say yes to LifeVantage, and you're going to say yes to activating your cells, and you're going to say yes to yourself, yes to your future, yes to the contribution that you're going to get as a result of that, and ultimately yes to your legacy that you're going to leave with your family, what does that look like for you? What is the model that you're basing it on? This is something I'll share with you because I've chosen to say yes to all of those, and my life has never been more gratifying than it is now, because we are elites in LifeVantage. We've been doing this now for over 13 years. It's become our life. We've taken trips all around the world on LifeVantage. In fact, we haven't paid for a vacation in a long, long time, but we decided that it was going to be part of our legacy, and we decided we were going to go full time and therefore also go big time. It was the choice that we made. So here's kind of the situation or the challenge for you. If you don't yet know what these things are, or the magnitude, or you've never have thought the choice, or you've never been given the option to say yes to yourself because you were too busy saying yes to your boss and your boss's dream or the company's vision, you never had time to really say it to yourself. Well, I'm gonna give you now permission to do that, or at least include it as an option, because your future is your choice. You can build someone else's dream, or you can decide to build yours by following an example where your contribution is what you want it and your legacy is what you create it to be. So it is available to you. Now, to say yes to LifeVantage, maybe some of you have some of these things in your life right now that it would be difficult to say yes to LifeVantage if you're on whatever season in your favorite series on Netflix or Hulu, because that has become a priority for you. And there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe people that love to watch their shows, as my grandmother would watch her favorite shows. If that's your case, that's awesome. You just have to figure out, or just resign yourself to the fact there's going to be a certain level of business that you can build. And that if you're going to spend time doing something else, you're going to take away time or available time to do something else that you may not have, or that you're not going to choose to build LifeVantage. And as a result, it won't necessarily be as big as you want it to be. It's just a choice, but make it nonetheless because you deserve it. So here's really what I would say to you. Actually, I went a little too fast on that. So as you're going through this, looking at this is the thing that my kids, unfortunately, I love funny animal videos. And my kids and I share these funny animal videos. And once you've got one, then there's going to be one before it and one after it. That's the problem, is I'll receive one from them and it is funny. It makes me laugh, but then that one turns into the one after it, and then the one after that, and then the one after that. And then Marcy will kind of look over at me and go, okay, it's been like 20 minutes. You've been watching these funny videos. So the key is not, I haven't controlled it and I haven't reeled myself in on something like that. So that's kind of my nemesis in this list. We have a TV, but we don't have a TV service. We haven't had cable TV service in over 10 years because there's stuff on there that we don't necessarily need to watch. And I haven't watched a live. In fact, I went home to see my mom for Mother's Day. She's a San Francisco Giants fan. I watched 3 baseball games on TV with my mom. Those are the first 3 baseball games I've seen in the last 15 years live. I mean, I've seen recorded World Series games, but I just don't watch professional sports anymore. Not that I don't like it. I do like it. I do watch the Super Bowl most times. I do watch maybe game seven of the World Series, very maybe, but there's just other things that are more important to me. And I normally have to sign up for a free 30-day trial of YouTube Prime or whatever, and then cancel it as soon as the game over because I don't want to sign up for the $7.99 a month or whatever it is, because we don't have TV service. Or this past year, we went over to our son's house to watch the football game, the Super Bowl, because we don't have TV service. Playing video games, something I don't ever, I mean, I did way back in college, but not in a long, long time. But this is the kind of thing, just to kind of wrap it up, things that don't make your life better, easier, more financially secure, I would say perhaps put them on hold for a while and learn to say no to them. So now let's get into what is it that you're going to say yes to. I would say yes to your life. And when you do, life says yes to you back. It's kind of one of those reciprocity things that's pretty amazing. So now say yes to life and see how life suddenly starts working for you rather than against you, because you deserve it. So once you say yes to you, then you start to watch what the beautiful things in life that start to come your way. But you have to say yes to you first. That's kind of really the prerequisite. So I encourage you guys all to do that. So here's the thing. If I'm going to say yes to something, I want to make sure it's worth it. Doesn't everybody? Well, how do you know? How do you know that it's worth it? How will you know if what you're getting involved in? Well, there's a saying that says success leaves clues. And if you do a little research on what people want, you can start to figure out what would be a good fit for you and perhaps what would not be. So in this COVID-19 pandemic, I started gathering some stats and look at what are people looking for? What are they looking for individually? What are they looking at for their family and society as a whole in 2 key categories, health and the economy. In other words, the status of health and the status of their finances. And interestingly enough, LifeVantage allows us working collectively to raise both of these. So if you look at health from a personal side, 64% of people in this post-COVID-19 pandemic situation are fearful of their health. Almost 2 in 3 people are fearful about their health in some way. And then if you look at the economy, the same percentage, almost 2 in 3 people are worried about the impact of their personal job security. But if you look at those same people, they have a higher percentage of fear as it relates to the health of other people. So in other words, they care more about others than they do themselves. Also not an uncommon human trait, not only for health, but also for the economy. Look at that. 88% of people are worried about the impact on the economy. Now, why did I bring these things up? Because health and the economy are things that people are very interested in, and they're very interested in them as it relates to others as well. Exactly the scenario you want if you're looking at a business that improves health and improves finances. Are people looking for them? Are people looking for the benefits? The answer is obviously yes. So now, what about the pandemic and jobs lost in the United States? This is a pretty unfortunate statistic. So when you're looking at men and women leaving the workforce, downshifting careers, there's a lot of people that are looking to do that, looking to leave the workforce, looking to downsize their careers as a whole, because they're not as fulfilled as before. It's not as predictable as before. There's stress involved with, are you something that people consider essential? Is your business something that is maybe not considered essential? And the stress that goes along with that. Well, here, if you see the statistic on the right, only 6 states have recovered all the jobs lost in the COVID pandemic. 22 million jobs were lost and considered non-essential, or businesses that were lost because of the lockdowns, because of the mask mandates, because of social distancing, because of all the things that went around or went along with the COVID-19 pandemic. 22 million jobs were lost here in the United States, and only 6 states have regained the amount of jobs lost since before COVID hit. And those are Arizona, Utah, Idaho, Montana, Texas, and Georgia. The other 44 states are looking for those jobs to come back. They're looking for, so in other words, what that means is people are looking for jobs. They're looking for ways of making money. And these are statistics from Statistica. So what are people looking for in a business? If people have resigned to themselves to the fact they are looking for a business, what are they looking for? There's some pretty amazing statistics that goes along with this. So did I go too far? Okay, according to the Wall Street Journal, 81% of respondents say they have more month than money and they are living paycheck to paycheck. Guys, 81% of people are living paycheck to paycheck, meaning the money runs out before the end of the month and they still have expenses. 66%, 2 out of 3 people recognize they need a better or second job. And of those people, 35% of them have a side gig or a second job now. All statistics represent the highest in US history. So the highest people that recognize that they need another or second job, but it's also the highest people that are looking or found a second job or a side gig now, which means they're open. They're obviously open, and the people are living paycheck to paycheck. They need another financial income source. Why not your LifeVantage business? So now, sorry, the slides are jumping ahead. The ideal new business trend, 3 main variables when people are looking at businesses to go into as an entrepreneurial effort. One is low cost, because the average for franchises is anywhere between $25,000 and $50,000 on average. Some can get up into the millions plus. Like a McDonald's franchise is over $1 million. Each location is over $1 million. So one, to get into a new ideal business as an entrepreneur, low entry cost and low monthly overhead is the biggest concern. The financial outlay to start the business, in other words. Second is drop shipping orders, because people don't want to make deliveries and they don't want to have inventory. That's one of the things about brick and mortar buildings that's unappealing. High overhead, you have to make deliveries where there's shipping costs, there's all kinds of other costs associated with the vehicles and the upkeep. And then there's inventory, there's spoiled goods, there's theft, there's all kinds of things that go along with maintaining an inventory and delivering products. Drop shipping orders is the appeal here. And then third is business online, so that your transactions are online. You manage your business online. In other words, you don't need a brick and mortar storefront. You do not need that. Those are the 3 most valuable assets that we have in our LifeVantage business, our network marketing business. Incredibly low overhead, incredibly low entry cost, drop ship orders on the company, and all of the transactions can be done online through an app, through email, through a website, and you can manage your business anywhere that you have cell phone coverage or Wi-Fi coverage. Very, very important. Our company meets all 3 of these criteria. So now getting into the next part of this. MLM or network marketing is the perfect option. I hope you see that. Specifically, our LifeVantage business is the perfect option. So let's take a look. How are people taking advantage of this new trend? $15,000 is the average entrepreneurial business, whether it's something where they do it out of their garage. Obviously it's going to be higher if they go get a storefront or brick and mortar. Little micro businesses are about $3,000 on average, but a home-based franchise, typically $2,000. The most expensive LifeVantage business, the Elite Pack, is $999 to start, and that includes the start kit. So leading motivations for people opening a business in the United States. Look at these things. These are the things that people have to make them decide to open a business. They're ready to be their own boss. Maybe they even like their boss. Most people tolerate their boss and they're ready to be their own. They're pursuing a passion because their passion is no longer what they did, or they're working for someone else's passion. The opportunity presents itself. They're opportunistic and an opportunity fell in their lap. They're dissatisfied with corporate America. I can see why. It's going downhill rapidly. They got laid off or outsourced, or they were considered non-essential. They're ready to retire, or they're not ready to retire, but they need extra income for when they are, or some other reasons, or life such as divorce events happen, spouse passes away, something of that. Those are the top reasons why people are looking to start businesses. And many of them, people are in this world, many of them are going through these as we speak. So look at the next variable here, drop shipping. This is what drop shipping is. Someone places an order as a customer or a distributor, whether they do it on the app with their cell phone, they do it online on their laptop, or they even make a phone call to customer service. Doesn't matter. That's step one. The order goes into the corporate headquarters. The order from corporate headquarters goes to the shipping warehouse, and then it gets shipped to the customer or the distributor. You, as the distributor, make no deliveries, you maintain no inventory, and you take no orders. It's all done through the company, and it's all done online. That's pretty spectacular. Doesn't get any better than that from a drop shipping standpoint. Now, how about this? Are people making money online? If the pandemic has showed us anything, it's how much we like ordering stuff online. Look at how rapidly this pandemic has made Amazon people extremely wealthy, almost $470 billion in sales. Look at the jump in the last 2 years. So online wholesale and retail businesses are booming online. It might as well be yours. People have grown to like ordering online and using their phone to do so, or using their laptop to do so. Might as well order from your business. Don't think they won't. They already are. How about this? Retail e-commerce sales. This stat blew my mind. In 2014, $1.3 trillion online business, retail e-commerce in 2014, 1.3 trillion in just over 10 years. So they suspect, or they predict by 2025 that will be $7.4 trillion. So a 700% increase in just over 10 years. There is a massive predictability for success in your business if your business is online, and if your business provides the products that people are looking for, health related, financial related, and you already know you have that. So here's my question to you as we close this out. What are you waiting for? What I would highly encourage you to get your calendar out. Get your calendar out and look at your available time. Get your calendar out and look at where you may be spending extra time in other places. Get your calendar out and see where you could squeeze in 5 minutes here, 15 minutes there, an hour here, an hour there. And I'll tell you this too, an hour every day for 5 days is better than 5 hours on a Saturday, because it's easier to maintain, it's easier to be consistent in, and it's easier to not forget. Because if you do something once a week on a Saturday, which is the 2 days we tend to do things other than work, you're much more likely to forget or schedule something else that's fun. And when you have now 2 things scheduled at the same time, most people are going to want to choose the fun one. So why put yourself through that situation? Or how about 15 minutes a day for 5 or 6 days is better than an hour and a half on Saturday. It doesn't matter when you do it. It matters that you do it more consistently or more often than not. If you're trying to build a business on the weekends, the week gets in the way. If you're trying to build a part-time business every day, you just have to schedule it. So it comes down to priority. It comes down to what you want. It comes down to how satisfied or dissatisfied are you with your current life status. And I would just ask you to take a look at your life now. How do you like it? What about it do you like? What about it gets you going? What about it would you like to change? Identify all of these things and then simply get busy getting the business and the life that you want, because you deserve it. And here's something else that I know. You will find that when you make your prospecting list and you take your candidates of people that are health conscious, that are business conscious, that are employees who've mentioned in the past they want to be entrepreneurs, people that complain about not having enough money to do the things that they want, whatever your criteria is for people, when you make your list of names, if you're not constantly going through them and constantly reaching out and constantly giving information to them or starting conversations based on what you know to be true in their case, one of those or a multiple of those will show up in the business as someone else's prospect because you weren't Johnny on the spot or Sally on the spot or whoever you choose to be. But that's the thing, is be proactive, but be consistent. 2 reach outs per day, every day, or 1 reach out per day every day is still 30 or 60 people in a month that you're reaching out to share this information with. So it's just up to you how you prioritize your time, how much you want it, but more importantly, how much more you want to help people starting. And when you help people, you naturally help yourself. So if you're looking at this, and I'll kind of share one thing with you that was one of my biggest hurdles was mindset when I first got involved in this business. Is what if I say something? What if I share this information and people think I'm crazy? And I brought that up to Blue. Blue Elam is my sponsor. And he says, they probably will. Some people will definitely think you're crazy. That's okay. But here's the situation. What if you have people that are on your list that are friends of yours that you know you could help, you know you want to help them, you just don't want their judgment. And as a result, you don't say anything to them. And they find out about it from someone else. And then they find out you've been doing this for quite a while. And I was 4 years into LifeVantage when I was having this conversation with Blue. And he says, what if they look at you and say, how long have you been in this company? And it did meet their criteria. It was exactly what they were looking for. My answer, well, 4 years. And they said, you mean you've been in this for 4 years and you never shared it with me? I thought I was your friend. How would I rather have that kind of an altercation with somebody or confrontation with somebody, or somebody tell me I'm crazy? I'd rather have somebody tell me I'm crazy every single day, all day, every day, than to look one of my friends in the eyes and try to tell them why I rationalized or why I omitted them from my list because I was afraid of their judgment. I'd much rather have their judgment thinking I'm crazy than thinking I omitted them or that I wasn't a good friend. So it's all in how you prioritize it. And if the pandemic has showed us anything, it showed us how vulnerable people can be and how much they take for granted their good health until it's not there anymore because they're being reactive instead of proactive. But it also shared with us, with the world, how vulnerable and how delicate and your employment can be. Because sometimes it's just that quick when you're determined on someone's list that you're no longer essential. What you do is no longer essential. The company you work for is no longer providing an essential service. Unfortunately, it happened to several friends of mine. And it's harder to play catch up once that happens. So be proactive and start off in your spare times. Move to part-time when you buy back your time. And I just kind of put it to you this way. Once you start making enough money in your business that is buying back some of your time, then now devote the time it bought back to building your business. So I'll give you a scenario. So you make $15 an hour and you're making on average $60 a month. That's 4 hours you just bought back. So now do your work or your part-time work 4 less hours and use that $60 to buy back the 4 hours. Obviously taxes, I'm using that as a perfect mathematical equation here. But as that number gets bigger, you can divide more of how much you make per hour into that. And that's how many hours you're buying back. Imagine when you can buy back 20 hours a week. And now you can go turn in your resignation and go find a part-time job. Or you keep doing it. And now you're keeping your employment going. You're keeping this part-time gig going until you have enough money to buy back 30 hours. And then you go in and you put in your resignation. You go find an additional 20 hour a week job, and you've got 10 hours bonus. Or what about when you can buy back full time? You just replaced your income from your work. Now you can go in there and hand in your resignation and put all of that extra time, that 40-hour work week or more for most people, and apply it all to LifeVantage. That's how people do it. That's how I did it. I was able to do that in almost 18 months. It was about 24 months until I replaced my income as a chiropractor and radio show host, but it was something that I needed to do. because my why, I had 2 kids at home that were growing up without a dad, and that wasn't working for me anymore. So it's just a matter of how big is your why? What's your purpose? How does this appeal to you? And what are you trying to accomplish? So I would just say, look at your calendar, find a way to go do this in your spare time. Once you're starting to make money and you're buying back some hours, then figure out how to do it part-time, then figure out how to do it full-time. And then should you choose to make a massive difference in the world, find out how you can do it big time and start rubbing elbows with people that are incredible thought leaders around the world and looking at some things you can do for the benefit of other people. Because that's what Marcy and I have really shifted from making money in LifeVantage to provide for our family, to making money in LifeVantage to provide for our family and provide for strangers around the world who will never know who we are or why we did what we did. Anonymously bless people wherever we want. We heard it in Texas one time. Marcy heard it. We want to have enough to do enough. And that's obviously ambiguous. Have enough to do what? Whatever we want, whenever we want, to bless other people and live lavishly on 10% of our income while we tithe and give away 90%. You can't do that on a Pro 6 or Pro 7 income. You have to go higher up the food chain, up our elite status. And we're not there yet. We're not anywhere near that because we have big things we'd love to do. We'd love to write a 7-digit check to our pastor every year. We're not there yet, but we will be. And it will be donating to anonymous charities. That's really what we want out of this. And we know we can, because we know there's a greater population today than there was yesterday of people around the world that are looking for better finances and looking for better health. And we have both in the same opportunity. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Please help me ask Marcy never, ever, ever to leave again without me, so that we don't have technical difficulties when I try to fly solo, as we always do. You think I'd learn by now? Well, you think Marcy would have learned by now. So I'm going to hold this over her head. Please help me do that. I'm totally kidding. It just is what it is. But thank you guys all so much for tuning in. Share this when it comes out. Marcy's going to be putting this up onto the YouTube channel. Please share it when you get a chance. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Hopefully the information we gave you guys tonight was inspirational. Hopefully you can utilize it to help build your businesses. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Peace. God bless you guys.